Okay, guys, let's finish up 8.4. This is the third part just on YouTube, just because the video was getting too long. So third part on YouTube, remember on WebAssign, there's only one homework assignment. But because I went to 3 parts, this is now going to, and I'll put it in the email, this is now going to be April 14th and 15th. Okay, and like I said, I'll put that in the email just because I don't want you guys to do, even though I'd like you guys to do math all day long, I know we got a lot going on. So I will allow this. You'll have to watch, it might be better to watch all 3 videos and then maybe, do the homework a different day or something, but you can kind of see how you want to split it up. All right, so where were we? We're determining whether the series is absolutely convergent, conditionally convergent, or divergent. Okay, and this is one that we haven't got to yet. What sticks out here? This, first of all, this is problem 10. That would be helpful. This whole thing is to the n power. Notice, where did I put it? I wanted to show you this one. I wanted to show you this one, problem, actually 7. It's close, but it's not the whole thing. If this was the whole thing to the k power, then we'd be doing what we're doing in problem 10. So just because there's an exponent doesn't mean we're going to do this method. But when the whole thing is to that, we're 100% going to do one test that we haven't talked about yet, or we talked about but we haven't really used yet, is the root test. The root test. We're going to take the whole thing to the, we're going to take it the nth root of the whole a sub n. Okay. And then if it's less than 1, it absolutely is convergent. If it's greater than 1, or it goes to infinity, then it's divergent. If it equals 1, then it's inconclusive. Okay, so very similar to the ratio test. But what gives it away that we want to do the root test is the whole thing is to the nth power. And so what we actually do, we take the limit as n approaches infinity of the nth root. We actually draw that in. And then technically we take the absolute value. I don't think we need the absolute value here, but n squared plus 1 over 2n squared plus 1. We need parentheses, right, to the nth, and then the absolute value of that. So this is my a. Can we read that? This is my a in here, a sub n, right? I need to take the absolute value, and then the root test says that I take the square root. I take the nth root. I take the nth root. Okay, what happens here? These cancel, which is beautiful. Those cancel. So now I have the limit as n approaches infinity. Those cancel. So I have n squared plus 1 over 2n squared plus 1. I'm taking the limit. I can do L'Hopital's rule. I could divide everything by n squared, or because they are both n squared, I take the lead coefficients. And so this equals 1/2. The limit equals 1/2. Okay, so now I read my root test. If my limit is less than 1, it is absolutely convergent. Okay. All right, so the root test is nice. It's kind of straightforward as to when we're going to use it. Let's try the last problem. There's just one little hiccup in the last problem. All right, problem 11. Let's finish this up. All right, let's take a look at summation n equals 2 to infinity. Parenthesis, that kind of gives it away, right? Negative 2n over n plus 1 to the 5n. Okay. All right, so when I have the whole thing to an n power, that kind of gives it away. Remember, keyword is whole thing to an n power. I take the nth root. Okay, so I'm going to do the root test. And the root test says I take the limit as n approaches infinity of the nth root of the absolute value of negative 2n over n plus 1 to the 5n. Okay, this is my, let's see if you can see it here. This is my a sub n. I take the absolute value of that, and then I take the nth root. Okay, and same thing. At least these cancel. The square root, or the nth root, cancels with the exponent of n. Okay, that's huge. So now I've got the limit as n approaches infinity. I've got the absolute value of negative 2n over n plus 1 to the 5th power. Okay. All right, so what happens here? This can come in, so I've got negative 2 to the 5th, n to the 5th. This is where it's just a little bit harder. And then down here at the bottom, I have to leave it as a quantity because it is plus 1 to the 5th. Okay, I'm taking the absolute value. So this would go to negative 32, but then the absolute value would take it to 32. Okay. Now, we got to investigate this a little bit. N plus 1 to the 5th. Normally, I would multiply that out, but I don't want to write this out 5 times and multiply it. I really only care about the very first term. So if I actually did write this out 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, the only thing that I care about is the first term, and I would actually have, let's get this written down, I would actually have an n to the 5th. Would I have a lot more? Absolutely. Those 3 dots are important. But I would at least know that my highest exponent would be an n to the 5th. There's a lot more after that. I would actually know that my last term would be, my constant would actually be plus 1. But there's definitely a lot more in there. The answer is not n to the 5th plus 1. But because I'm taking my limit, and they're both n to the 5ths, I don't care about this other stuff. I only care about the lead coefficient. So that one was maybe a little bit tricky, a little bit different. Yes, this means this, but I only care about the very first term. Okay, so this would equal 32. The root test says if it's greater than 1 or if it equals infinity, it is divergent. Okay. All right, so that is all the tests. That was the last 3 we did. We did the alternating series, ratio, and root test. And then remember this, add this piece to it, even though they tell you what it is, add this piece. This gives you literally a list of all, including this one down here, of all the tests. Okay. All right, so you want to try on WebAssign, you want to try section 8.4. Okay. There's only one of them, 3 YouTubes, 1 homework assignment, 2 days to do it. All right, so we got something of each. 1 WebAssign, I'm going to give you 2 days to do it, 3 YouTubes.